Hey guys, I told you this morning that I would sit down and try to put something together for you and send it out to you via email, connect you with YouTube, and so here we are. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, good luck tomorrow on your test. I know you guys are all excited about taking the test, and hopefully they prepared you to get a big fat A on the test and then move on to pass your state and local exam. So I'm not going to talk to you any more about that. I'm going to talk to you about some things with real estate. So I told you this morning I wanted to send you some tips on being successful. And so what I'm going to do is I broke it down into two different groups. One is I put a list of 10 things together that if you wanted to be sure, if you were trying to fail, these are some things that I would tell you to do if you wanted to fail, and what I see people do every day that fail. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a plan to be successful. So it won't take that long to go through it, and maybe this will help you. The first thing I said, if you want to fail in real estate, then compromise your values for the almighty dollar. I mean, that's the thing. Realtors don't have a great reputation as being honest and ethical. Unfortunately, some people see us as used car dealers. Well, we're not. And I'm sure there are some people that are maybe willing to compromise, but you don't need to do that. You never want to do that. You want to always keep the client in mind and keep their best interest in mind, and that will help you build a great reputation to be successful. The number two thing that I think people do if they want to fail is dress like a slob. You know what? You don't have a lot of experience. You haven't been around this business, so you have to look like a powerful professional salesperson. So act the part, dress the part, behave like that. In essence, sort of fake it till you make it until, and even once you've made it, if you look professional, that's going to make you stand out from the pack, and maybe people will want to work with you. The next thing I see that causes people to fail, and realtors are terrible at this, is they're consistently tardy. They're always late. Don't be late, be early. Be professional and be early, and respect other people's time. I think they'll value that, and that'll help you build a good start to your business. The other thing one of the things I see people fail to do in real estate is they never work on their skills. They never role play their listing presentation. They never work on their dialogues. They just wing it all the time. And if you do that, you're just destined to get defeated every time by the competition. And the clients will just always see you as subpar. If you work on your dialogues, if you know what to say, if you know how to handle objections, if you work on those skills, you're going to be able to separate yourself from the pack. Because I'll tell you, you might think that people do it all the time. Most agents don't. Most of them are just winging it. The next thing is have zero accountability. If you don't have anyone watching over you, then the chances of you doing the things you need to do every day are less. In real estate, you're an independent contractor. There is no boss. Well, you need to try to establish some accountability. You need to set down some goals, share those with people, and maybe find somebody, an accountability partner, somebody to help you stay on target, especially when it's been a month or two and things aren't going. If they don't go quite as well as you'd like, you need to continue to do the activities that you're taught in order to get to the success that you need. The success is going to be slower than you think. Even I talked to you this morning about how we can help get you there as fast as anybody else, but it's still always slower than you think. You have to stay the course. You have to focus on those business-generating activities. Even if they haven't yielded anything up to this point, you got to keep after it, keep after it. The consistency is what's going to get you there, and accountability will help you stick with that. The next thing I wrote down is ignore the power of building your center of influence. One of the ways that we teach people to become successful is to develop a database of people that they know that are going to be willing to help them in referring business. And when people just, they write down a few names and they never really get a systematic way of doing this, their business is just never going to take off. Again, you have the ability to go out and generate leads, but imagine if you had 100 other people that were out there with their ear to the ground trying to help you. It's going to make things happen a lot faster. So you have to get on building that center of influence and that database as quickly as possible, and then motivate and educate those people to send you referrals. Next thing I see a lot in real estate is because people want to work all the time, they let their physical health slide and they let their mental health slide. You have to constantly, this business takes a lot out of you. It's a lot of energy required to be successful. And if your physical health and your mental health go away, that's a problem. So you need to continue to exercise. If you've never really done a lot of exercise, maybe start that. be a good time to do it. You're making a lot of changes in your life. Why not throw another log on the fire and pick some exercise up? As well as your mental health. And what I do for that is I have music that I listen to that really gets me up. I read inspirational books. I try to hang around people that are positive and not hang around people that are negative. That's just some ways to help me do that. The next thing is you don't have a plan for business generation. You just show up at work and you sit there and you do what most agents do, and that's wait. Well, that doesn't get you anywhere. Your phone's just not going to ring. You got to make it ring. So you have to have a plan for business generation, including building that center of influence, working on your skills, going out and seeing the people, writing some notes, doing some different events, really having some kind of a plan to generate the business. And we'll sit down with you and help you do that if you choose to come here. The last one is not keeping your ego in check. The ego can destroy you in this business. I guess it can motivate you too, but a lot of people allow their ego to get in the way. They don't want to learn a script or a presentation because they feel like their way may be better. Well, you may have some natural sales skills, but I can tell you that we've got some proven, successful ways for you to work in this business. And if you can at least open or put your ego down and let that in, and then maybe add some of your personality to it, you're going to be better off than you would be if you just try to go on your own because you think you know it all. So there's a few things. That's 10 items right there. Let's talk about some ways and maybe a little bit of a plan to help you get going and getting some good habits from the get-go. And so I sort of look back at what I did when I started in the business a long time ago, and then what people do that I see become successful every day in the business now. When I started in the business, I wanted to be the first one in the office every morning. I said, you know what, I'm going to try to outwork the competition, so I tried to be there early. And I would get here at 7 o'clock, 7:30. Now, again, my family was living in Farmville. I was living here by myself, so I didn't have a lot of obligations. Some of you, it just doesn't work to be able to do that. But, I would say if you're going to be full-time, you need to make sure that you're at the office by 8:30 or something every day. And then you want to stay focused. I don't think you want to answer the phone. I don't think you want to do a lot of emails. I don't want to see texting and stuff like that. I think you need to focus on the activities in the morning and try to let those distractions, let them come in sometime around noon. I told you before, you want to look the part. You want to dress professional, look, act, walk, talk, and sound like a professional salesperson. And believe it or not, the world will see you as that. And you need that to happen, because if they sense that you're new and that you don't know what you're doing, they're not going to be that likely to want to work with you. Okay? So focus on profitable activities. When you come to work, focus on profitable activities. Prospecting, meaning how are you talking to people about business, getting referrals, listing their or selling their properties. Focus on lead follow-up. If you've met somebody, they have questions you need to answer, you need to continue to talk to them, try to set appointments with those people. Another profitable activity is negotiating contracts. Well, maybe you have some, maybe you don't. Hopefully you'll get a bunch, but that's a profitable activity. Going on qualified appointments, meeting with buyers and sellers. That's a profitable activity. Self-improvement and education, that's a profitable activity. Attend some classes. I showed you our schedule. We've got stuff going on all the time. Sit down, shadow another agent. Have a mentor. Spend some time with somebody who knows what they're doing. That's going to help you get going. That is a big time. That's a profitable activity. And the other one people ignore is previewing property. Go out and get familiar with the inventory. Go out and look at houses. Schedule showings and just go out and see it. If you want to work in a particular area, learn the inventory in that. So when you do find a buyer, or if you do go on a listing appointment, you're knowledgeable about the competition. You're knowledgeable about the inventory. That's something that you have time to do that a lot of experienced agents don't have time to do. So I would certainly recommend that. I like creating a 30-day, when you start the business, create a 30-day realistic plan. Now, if your 30-day goal is to sell 100 houses, probably not going to happen. I hope it does. I don't think it is. Create a realistic plan, look at that every day, and then reevaluate it after 30 days and put another one out there in front of you. Create a realistic schedule. One of the things, back to being an independent contractor, you don't have a boss. Nobody's going to make you do anything. You have to be your own boss. Discipline is important in this business. Doing the things that you know you need to do on the days that maybe you don't even feel like doing it. That's what discipline is. So write down a schedule that will work for you and try to stick to that schedule as much as possible. I wrote down, develop a listing presentation. Start working day one on your listing presentation. Find an experienced agent, go on a listing presentation with them and see how they do it. Critique them and say, hey, I'd like to bring in these elements into mine, and maybe that's something that I don't want to do. If you go on 2 or 3 with different people, then you'll be able to develop your own style. We have a presentation and some stuff that we've recorded that we can help you with as well to start on yours. I'm big on learning objection handling, or being able to handle objections. Things are going to come up. People are going to say to you, well, we want to list it for sale by owner. We want you to cut your commission. We want to think it over, and so on and so on and so on. You need to be able to handle those objections, and we can teach you that here. That's one of our classes. Myself and all of our sales managers are excellent at being able to handle those common objections that come up, and that'll give you a lot more confidence if you can handle those. You got to learn to close. You got to be able to, say, hey, so let's go ahead and do the right thing. Why don't we list your home tonight, get on the market this weekend, and hopefully get it sold by next week. Learn to close. A lot of agents don't do that. That's surprising, but they don't. I wrote down, consistently ask for referrals. That's the name of the game. You need to be all the time thinking about, what do I say that might help somebody get the confidence or have the confidence in me to refer business to me? We use a thing called the mayor campaign. If you were thinking about buying or selling a home, or you knew somebody who was, do you have an agent you'd refer them to? That's a great little phrase that we use all the time. I use that today. After 20-some years, I use that all the time. We talked about developing your center of influence and your database. That's really important. And then consistently looking for ways to improve your systems, improve the way that you do business, and become more efficient. Because as time goes on and you get busier and busier in the real estate business, the key is to become more efficient. The great equalizer is 24 hours. You have 24 hours in your day, I have 24 hours in my day. How much can I get done in the time that I want to work is critical. So hey, there it is. There's some great advice to you. I wish somebody would have told me this stuff when I was sitting in your shoes. Hopefully this will work for you. And if there's anything I can do for you, if you'd like to sit down and talk about it, I'd love to meet with you. You can email me at the email address where you receive this. My cell number is 244-1022. I'd love to sit down and talk with you if you want to take advantage of that opportunity. Again, good luck tomorrow on your test and with the state and national test, and I hope you have a great career in real estate. Thanks for your time.